Hello again, everyone that likes the greatest car ever made. That would be this, the McLaren F1 that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans outright against purpose-built race cars. So this is a road car, and then they modified it to go racing, whereas purpose-built race cars are just there to race, right? So that's the impressive thing that Gordon Murray pulled off here in designing this vehicle. So MiniGT, we have number 534. Wow, these guys are just racking out the models here. I mean, in a few years they're gonna hit 1,000, right? It's craziness. And so, if this matters to you, these guys are legit. You know, they actually get the approval from the company saying we made a model, please approve it. Whereas some of all those fly-by-night operations, in particular Scale Mini, which the bashing will continue later on in this video, they just make garbage. I hate that brand now. Actually, their model isn't too bad. It's just the wheels are not good. Alright, so another thing that MiniGT does well is the fact that they have this small packaging. I have grown to hate the big clear boxes because I've run out of room. I'm buying less and less of the models that come in those boxes, specifically because I don't know where I'm going to put those boxes. But this, I mean, I can put these in a box under the bed or something, or I can throw it out and feel less guilty. So this car is not turbocharged. It's normally aspirated. It's a BMW V12, and yet it can go over 200 miles per hour. Whereas, like, say, a Veyron needs 4 turbochargers. So, if I was super rich, I would definitely own one of these. I think Lewis Hamilton bought his for like $18 million or something like that. And then I would just be talking to my friends and ragging on their Bugattis and other hypercars that don't go out and win the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Alright, you can obviously pause that video and see if they match up with the photos. So far nothing's glaringly wrong, but I guess that's why we're going into detail now, if I could hit the focus. In particular, the wheels. These look like the shape that you see in those photographs. And it's nice that they have the little blue metallic center knockoff there. I guess you could add a little black paint in the middle, you know, to mimic the hollowness of the axle. You're not going to get disc brakes on a model like MiniGT. They're just not expensive enough, and that's fine. But all you toy fans that like things that roll, this is probably one of the nicest things you could roll down a Hot Wheels track. It just seems wrong to me to roll them down and scratch up the paint and all that, but you can. Okay, so the tires, yeah, nice printing. They're not like all over the place like a green light would do. They're actually concentric so far. We'll have to see about the other ones. So yeah, Michelin, and I guess it was running Pilot SX tires. Alright. And speaking of Michelin, you got the character there, and then you see there's no wrinkliness on all this sponsorship and this text. Reason why is MiniGT tampo prints their stuff. That's another reason why I'm not buying those more expensive brands like Inno and Tarmac Works, because they'd use decals and they just look horrible with air gaps behind the door cuts and all that stuff. Okay, so yeah, tampo printing, very cool. There's no black paint here, but maybe the vent is only right there. Is there actually black paint there? No, I don't think there is, but it's dark enough, it doesn't bother me. Alright, rear tire and wheel look fine as well. And then if you're curious, it does have the different color on the proper side of the car. So that's how they don't mix and match the nuts, because they're threaded reverse. And then looking at this side of the car, I don't notice any major problems. You know, the break between this gunmetal color and the rest of the metallic black, it's very good. It's a nice sharp break. It's not fading out or anything like that. I don't know what this dot is. I think, is this like a light? It might be a light. Okay. And then, yeah, the flag, the drivers here. Ito, Dalmas, and Sakia. Alright, you have some minor printing here indicating the molding. And I guess that's realistic, because I look at that side photograph and all this is flush. There's no like molding sticking out, you know. McLaren designed it for aerodynamics. And then MiniGT does another great thing, rubbery mirrors. So that's one reason why they can get away with such small packaging, because these aren't going to break off in shipping. I mean, they're not even going to break off if you drop the model. So every brand should be going to this. I mean, if MiniGT can do it, every brand, in particular all the expensive brands, should be doing the same thing. Okay, little marker there in red, looks good. Fuel filler door, I guess. There's actually two. I don't know if that's, if the road car, yeah, I'm looking at the photographs. Yeah, there's two fuel fillers on those photographs. Let's go around to the front. We have some nice egg crate patterning here on all three vents. I assume this might be part of the interior piece or something. And it looks, you know, like these are deep. I don't know if there's black paint, but they're deep, so they look good to me. And then this one is running the night lights hood here. So there's some lights here, and then there's silver paint to indicate the headlights. The headlights within this glass, well, plastic cover look good because they look domed. You know, the paint is silver, but they're behind this clear thing, and this clear thing has the blackout printing on it, so that's very good as well. Alright, that looks alright. And almost, I feel a roughness there. I wonder if this is a real vent. I feel wrong zooming in 4 times on a model costing this much, but it's possible they might have tried to make a real vent there, or maybe it's just a casting, something went wrong, but it feels rough. Okay, let's get back out a little bit. So the wiper blade, it's raised, looks like it's painted black, so that's good. And then the printing up here, no decal again, very nice. It's like black here, and then the white banner on top of it. But there's a space missing here. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the front photograph. That is correct. So very good. You'd think it'd be an error, but no, it's actually on the real car. Maybe there's a camera there or something, or I can't imagine what else there would be. Leave a comment if you know. There's vent here. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Going around here, yeah, you got the 6 vents here, these little slots, and then you got a big NACA vent here. I kind of wish that was a little deeper. I think they could have made that a little deeper, but at least you can see there's a vent there. You can also see there's a carbon fiber graphic printed here. It's very nice. Same with the wing. It looks like it's carbon fiber. Then you got the 4 slots here, no paint or anything like that, but these things are all deep enough. You could just take a fine Sharpie and fill those in, or actually use black paint and then Q-tips to clean it up. So you can see the paint is really good. It's not orange peeled like a Hot Wheels usually does, so it's pretty smooth. It's actually pretty impressive for a model of this price. Okay, so the wing, yeah, pretty thin struts, you know, thinner than a Hot Wheels, so that's good. And then the lights, yeah, they're clear. You can see the light bouncing around back in there, so that's nice. Then you have the printing of all the badges. I focus again. McLaren F1 looks good, GTR looks good, and then the V12 power. Alright, now here in these vents, there actually is something going on. It looks like black and maybe printed there. I think those might be like the backup lights or something, or a reflector and a backup light. Although well, anyways, it's good. 4 exhaust pipes. I feel like this piece is a little crooked, but I'm a little more forgiving on a model of this price range. Seems good enough. And then well, not much else to talk about, I guess, on this back end. It looks good. I'm just looking at the photographs. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, and as always, the one really dumb thing that MiniGT purposely chooses to do is not tell you what the car is. Even though this bottom can't be shared with a Lamborghini or whatever else they're making, right? I don't know why they don't just mold in McLaren F1. Maybe they don't need to write GTR, because maybe this could be shared with the road one. But it's really strange. So, well, anyways, that's my one gripe. You know, I feel like this is going to need some disc brakes. They're running gold calipers, so I'm going to take this apart, and I have some 3D printed brakes. So in Ash, where can I get that stuff? I sell all my 3D printed stuff on Shapeways. But I also have to warn you, Shapeways is expensive. But if you buy enough stuff, their shipping is usually pretty cheap, if not actually free. They seem to have a lot of free shipping promotions because I think they know that their stuff is really expensive. Alright, well that's interesting. there's no... Oh, I see. I'm like, where's the engine? But look, it's actually down here. That's quite unexpected. Does this come off? I think it might be glued down, or there's a really tight friction fit. So that's actually cool because you could paint that pretty easily, being a separate thing. You know, you could actually paint around on the vertical surfaces. Is this rubbery? No, it's plastic. That's really neat. I'm almost tempted to paint that. Almost. Oh yeah, it is glued down, that stuff there. So it is a metal base, which I also feel is a waste of resources. It just makes the things heavier to ship around. Yeah, the central seating position. You know, this is a totally unique casting. The road car would have 2 seats there, right? So they got rid of that. So that's nice that they went through the trouble of making a different casting. The steering wheel looks pretty good. I mean, it's all hollowed out. It actually has like 6 bolts holding the center hub of the steering wheel, like a race car would have. And then you can see there's a stalk there. Only 1 stalk though. That's probably accurate, because why would a race car need a turn signal? Well, then again, the turn signals are on the photos, so I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Leave a comment why there's only 1 stalk on the column there. I assume that's for the wiper blade. I don't know if this car would have had a shifter down there, or if it was a paddle shifter. I don't know. Yeah, look, they actually have molded detail for where their foot's gonna rest, and probably the gas pedal there, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. You got some drilled out pedals there on the floor. So that's a real minor detail that most people wouldn't notice. You couldn't even see that, I think, if it was just still inside the model. You literally have to open it to see that detail. Okay, a minor gripe maybe is those holes there on the seat aren't hollow, but that's really minor. Very, very minor. So let's see what kind of axles this thing has, if they're straight or fluted or knurled. So I just try to twist them off. I think they're knurled just by the tension. Nope. So now you know, you don't need to actually twist it. You just pull it straight off. They're fluted. Well, I've run into a problem. It turns out these brakes I designed for the MiniGTs are too big. I designed them this way because I took an average of a lot of the MiniGTs, and most MiniGTs have giant 20-inch wheels, but this thing is not running on such big wheels. So basically I'm gonna have to sand down the outside edge of all these rotors to get them to fit. So just a warning, you know, if you're gonna actually spend the money buying these brakes on Shapeways, that they're not gonna fit this particular car without modification. Since the axles just rest on this metal and are trapped by the interior, I think it might be better if I actually put the thing back together before I put the wheels on. So there's 1 press fitting up top and just 2 locator pins for the windows there. So I recommend you use a hand screwdriver when you're putting any sort of die cast back together, because the metal itself isn't strong. You'll probably strip it out if you use an electric driver. Find the thread. Okay. So yeah, I just have those in. No glue even, they're just friction fit in there. So blue is on this side of the car. You can't even say driver's side because the driver's in the middle. They're both driver's side. So you can see it. I guess I must have pulled some of the axle out of that wheel because it's sticking way out. Maybe it would be good if you twist it a little bit. Yes, there you go. Well, those brakes are probably not in that same location, so I'm gonna have to come back and do that. But before I do that, I'll just show you what I use to trim down plastic parts. Just some jewelry files. So I just go 1 pass over this whole border and that seems to be enough to get it in there. It doesn't need to be round because you're never going to see the roundness of the edge through the spokes. I'm trying to cover the top surface because the file, if I slip, it's just going to take the paint off. And the real car just has flat rotors. It doesn't even have cross-drilled brakes, which is weird if the thing's going over 200 miles per hour a lot. But yeah, I guess just flat rotors. Strange. Okay, so that should be enough. Let's see if I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong, as always, but yeah, no, I think that's good. So then I just have some tweezers, push those in. Alright, let's see if I can get this alignment better. So I'm going to put the brake by the door, which is what I see. And then I'm going to hold this one in that general location as I push it on. Alright, so I'm going to fix the rear one. So there's a picture of the engine, by the way. It has black headers. And the only thing you'd really want to add color to are the exhaust pipes to look like they're just raw titanium. I assume those are titanium. But when you look at the engine through here, I don't know. I have a feeling it's not even worth doing because right? You can see the headers there, but they're black as they should be. But I'm not even sure. I guess you can see the exhaust pipes right there. So yeah, that you might want to add some silver paint to those. That's about it. Alright, let's start with some other random F1 stuff before we pull out the Scale Mini. Here's a Kyosho, I think. Yeah, Kyosho. See, they understand basic things like telling you what the scale is, what the car you're holding is, and who made it. Nice treads. This is a road car, of course. But look at the mirrors, you know. They are separate pieces, but they just look a little bit goofy. They're really big. But this was made a long time ago, so it's pretty good still. I'm not going to sell this, but I think the MiniGT is simply better. So here's the Kyosho version of this race car. But Kyosho even got the wheels correct. They just don't have the extra color. Well, you know what? I take that back. So you can see the hex here. The hex is not on the front wheels of the Kyosho. So this guy took the day off early. He had a hot date or something and just decided not to mold the hex there on the front wheels. But this is all tampo printed as well. This is why I like Kyoshos. So as long as the paint stays nice, it's good, right? But the Kyosho has painted on taillights, so that I guess that could be an issue. And the headlights inside the light bucket aren't domed like MiniGT has done. So MiniGT has definitely made an advancement here. There is an engine in that Kyosho too, but it's all black as well. The Kyosho also doesn't have any carbon fiber graphic on the wing. Here's another Kyosho, but it's the Gulf livery. So, same old. Again, no knockoff on the front. Pretty weak Kyosho. Kyosho also did the longtail version. So this is a Lark cigarette sponsorship one. And it tells you, again, what it is. I don't get to pull out the 143rd so much. This is a Mini Champ's 143rd thing. So it's still holding up. I'm looking for paint rash. You know, diecast get paint rash, but maybe a tiny bit of bubbling up in here. No carbon fiber treatment on this wing. The only thing that's really better on this one is it has the antenna. But oddly, this actually has slotted rotors. But I don't see slotted rotors on this photograph. But maybe they changed out the brakes. If you're running a 24-hour race at 200 miles per hour, yeah, I'm sure they must swap out the brakes once. But leave a comment if you know. I don't really actually follow that stuff. Anyways, this is nice. And you know what? This one just has it looks like more white taillights instead of orange, but the photograph is clearly they're orange. Okay, so now here it is, the Scale Mini. The actual body of this is really nice, being a resin model. Look how the paint is very smooth. I wouldn't doubt that they polish it after painting. The engine details. I don't know if it had blue hoses, but this one has metallic blue, and you can see the exhaust pipes are like a titanium color, so they got that right. They also have like a whole bunch of photo etch pieces, you know, this grill here. Oh, so that carbon texture on the MiniGT is actually supposed to be a grill. I think there's a radiator there or something. You'll notice the aqueduct though. It's more like a V. I'm not sure which is more accurate. It's hard to tell. I don't have an overhead shot of this. What I don't like about this is why is there no antenna on a resin model? I mean, other 64 scale, even like Tarmac Works Hobbies have antennae. So that's a big omission. And then just look at the wheels. They don't look at all like the wheels on the race car. The race car has generally fat tires, and they have, see? Look how fat the tires are on this thing. And then they're wider at the base, or the hub. The spokes are narrowed down quite a bit towards the rim. But the clown that designed these wheels, they're just equally thick spokes. And then the rear tire looks super thin. So it's literally they're using the same wheel on the front and rear. Which might be the case on the real race car, the diameter, but I don't know. Something's just weird, right? It almost looks like the front tire is thicker than the rear tire. So that's what's not good about this one. You know, when these things cost more, you just kind of expect them to look more like the real photographs, but I have a suspicion these Scale Mini guys, a lot of them just don't even look at photographs of the car. So this is the worst brand in resin. The worst resin brand out there. Don't buy them unless you really like the car itself. You know what? That does lead to the question. Could I put these wheels on? And then it would become the perfect model, theoretically. I'll be back. So I thought you might want to see the inside of this Scale Mini. So this has the roll cage, the MiniGT does not. This also has pedals, the central seat, which hollows things there. There's no seat belt in this either, which is really odd for a resin model. It does have a fire extinguisher detail there on the floor. But the engine is on the top half. It's a separate piece up in there. So now if you look in here, you gotta be careful. There's little tow hooks on this little thing and the wiper blade and all that stuff. So you gotta be really careful with these things. The steering wheel is actually attached to the top as well. But you can see they use some sort of glue to glue in the wheels because they're not, it's not a toy. It's not meant to be rolled around. It's a scale model. So I gotta figure out how to break these off, and then I'm gonna see if these brake calipers will even fit the wheels by MiniGT, because these brake calipers are definitely molded nicer than my generic 3D printed ones. If anyone's crazy enough to do this also to their own, but I just got some pliers here. I'm grabbing the axle, I'm just trying to rotate it, and you can see it is slowly breaking loose. You know, this whole body is made of plastic, so you gotta be careful to not break too much. I don't know, don't be so forceful. And the rear one here, the axle is just spinning inside the wheels, so you can actually see maybe that wheel spinning a little bit. So yeah, just take your time. I'll be back and leverage this stuff out. So another thing you're going to want to do is cut out these alignment tabs. They're just too tight, you know, with all the glue. So you still have the rectangle to align the brake thing. So you'll see this one's already in there, but I'm going to break it out. And boy, where's that? Yeah, it just These little rectangles here in the middle are just too annoying. They keep the thing from going in. So the MiniGT wheels were a little too small up front, so you're gonna have to actually sand this surface down if you actually want it to sit like a racing car. You know, basically the tire is supposed to be touching the bottom of the fender, it looks like. So yeah, this takes significant modification, this one. So I've been away for over 2 hours. So this is a real project. Like, I had to remove the engine because when I was filing away all that plastic, all the dust got inside behind that glass there. So you pretty much have to take the whole thing apart. I broke the wing off, so I had to glue that back in. You gotta be really careful, and even I guess I still didn't drop down the front stance as much. It came with these spacers. I had to take out one O-ring as well. I also had to chop down the screws because I think the screws were too long without that second O-ring. So yeah, you can get this to work, but it takes 2 hours. But I will say, this is probably now the nicest 1/64 scale version of the greatest car in history, in my opinion. If you like a car more than this, please leave a comment as to why. Okay, so this video is not about Scale Mini, so that was quite a bit of a tangent. I ended up putting those Scale Mini wheels on this, and then I realized also, why doesn't Scale Mini also have the blue and red knockoffs? Like, it's really weak. These are my own 3D printed disc brakes in this one. So, you know, on a $10, $15 model, I guess this is okay. I'm just using putty to mount that. I also managed to lose a screw. I have to order some more. They're 2.5 millimeter screws, by the way, as far as diameter goes. Alright, so let's get back to the subject at hand. I went and bought a second one. And then I actually went and painted the exhaust headers in there, as well as the stacks. So you can actually see the silver headers right there. And if you angle it just enough, you'll see the silver stacks. Unfortunately, the light in this booth is not made right there. You can start seeing that side of the intake stacks. So you might want to repaint some of it. Okay. So back to this. Here's a top view. Basically, the other ones are Kyosho's. I'm not gonna bring out the LCD road one because this is a race car. I don't feel like taking it out of the box. So let's just put these three up now. So yeah, Kyosho did a good job holding the torch for a while, but body-wise, the Scale Mini is superior. The engine in there is also really nice. The interior, the super thin windows, all that stuff. It's just the wheels. That's the only thing that was a big gripe. So if you don't really love this car, I would recommend you go with the MiniGT. I mean, the MiniGT, and it has all the details you need. I guess the molded windows, sure, they don't let you see inside so well, but the thing is a Spartan race interior anyway, so I don't see a real reason to have the super thin windows, if you're not a true enthusiast of this car, that is. I also fear, these thin windows might, well, it's possible they might pop loose, at least the rear ones, because they're under tension, and possibly that windshield. So molded windows obviously don't pop loose. They're molded to that shape. So, okay, well, let's give you a top view here. You can obviously pause if you really want to look at the details. The vent shapes, all that stuff. So again, MiniGT doing a great job. The only thing that really is a weird, if not stupid, is the fact they don't tell you what the car is. no one, I highly doubt anyone's storing their Mini GTs inside those cardboard boxes, right? That would defeat the purpose of buying a model. So why don't they just do the simple thing that every other brand does and print on the bottom what it is you're holding in your hand? So minus that, I think this could be the best diecast brand out there. So because they don't use decals, it's that simple. Okay, so thank you for watching today. I'll obviously get more Mini GTs. We'll just have to see what castings they have coming. Thanks. Take care. Bye.